Hi,
My name's J.C. McCauley.
I'm Naisha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
Good afternoon, and welcome to our bi-weekly BBA business programming. My name is Frank Dixon, the president of the Black Business Alliance, where we are vision on the economic development, business sustainability, capacity building, and community initiatives focused on our Black and minority community, not just here in Connecticut, but nationally. We offer, we're a membership organization. We offer business-to-business consulting. We do business development, training, workshops, specifically targeted and designed for our Black and minority business community. We do advocacy for our membership on their behalf at local, state, and federal level if need be. So thank you again for joining us for the Black Business Alliance business programming show. And you can go to our website at www.bbusinessalliance.org as we are here today on AccessTV.org, channel 17. Today's guest is Miss Karen Bellamy, the owner of KJB Associates, LLC, located in New Haven, Connecticut, insurance company. Karen, welcome to today's program.
Hi, Frank. Thank you so much for inviting me on your show.
You know what? I needed to get an insurance person on the show. And thank you again for joining, one of our more recent members of the Black Business Alliance. Thank you again for joining the BBA. Insurance, a lot of Black and minority businesses, have this lack of knowledge, about how much insurance and what type of insurance they need. And after you tell us a little bit more about, who you are, your background, your education, talk to us about what you experience when it comes to a lot of some of our Black and minority businesses and the types of insurance and what they don't understand about it.
Okay. I started my agency back in 2000 when I was told that I couldn't do it. I worked for a gentleman that was doing 50-50 splits and didn't realize that there was more money to be made. And I went on and said, hey, I can't afford to live off of what I'm making here. I'm going to go get a full-time job and also do my business in the evening. He said, oh, what do you think, you superwoman? You can't do that. So when he told me I couldn't do that, I why can't I? And I researched it, and I found that I was able to do that. I grew up in New Haven, right near the train station, Church Street South. Graduated in 1977 from high school, and then went on to community college. Okay. And from there, I was a young mother, so I had to go to school in the evening and work. And I worked for Blue Cross Blue Shield. And there I met a gentleman, God rest his soul, John Cooper. He was a Black gentleman that worked at Blue Cross. Well, she one of the only Black agents there. But he took me aside and mentored me and told me I could get my license and how I can sell insurance. So I worked for Blue Cross for about 12 years. Right. And then I left there, and that's when I went out on my own to start my own. Well, I went to work for another guy for like 2 years, actually, only 2 years. And that's when he told me that, I couldn't go on my own. And I said, well, this is something I want to do. I'm going to research it. And found all I had to do is pay for my licensing and get my E&O insurance and contract with the companies on my own. Right. And that's when I decided to start my own agency.
So was because of that mentorship by, was it Mr. Cooper?
Yes,
Because of that mentorship, did he identify that you might have had the talents for the insurance? Or yeah. Is it something you said, you know what, I like this?
Well, he felt I was able to do the job because I was doing the job right at Blue Cross. Right. And he said, you know what, why not, go and get licensed, this is what you have to do, where someone else wasn't telling me that. They'd keep me in a clerical position where he saw it as potential that I could move and I didn't need to have the college degree and that to make money. Because it can be lucrative in the insurance business. It's based on relationships. Right. So he showed me how I can earn more money.
So what I know a lot of people who say, oh, well, I'm going to go sell insurance, right? I'm going to, it's almost like the real estate thing
Right,
where
yeah.
everybody says, oh, I'm going to get my real estate
Right.
license. But you have to really understand the passion of matching up people to the properties that they're looking for and what suits them instead of just selling a property that's there. How does that work on the insurance side? You know, when it comes to you evaluating what someone needs from a personal or business standpoint. How does that work?
Well, when I first started my business, my agency, I was a health and life producer. So I started back in 2000 for small businesses. I would go into small business and see what their needs. I help them find health insurance, add on to different benefits like maybe some voluntary products like life insurance or disability insurance. So I would go in and find out like how many employees they had and what type of plan they were looking for. But that since changed because, you know, with the Affordable Care Act, the health care is different for small businesses. But I also offer home insurance, auto insurance, business liability insurance. So when I'm meeting with the business owner, I'll go in and find out what their plans are, what they're, looking on what's required for them, because sometimes the requirement comes from someone else, and how they want to insure their business. So I do a lot of listening to find out what they're offering, how many employees they have, what they're looking to do in the future. So you have to have a lot of listening, a lot of patience. Like you said, everyone thinks they can sell insurance, but it's a lot of legwork. And sometimes things don't happen overnight as quickly as we want them to. It's not we're going to go in and try on these shoes, they fit, and you buy them, but sometimes it takes a little planning.
So it's more, you're selling products to what they need and not just necessarily insurance.
Right.
Because people tend to lump it all together.
No,
I
everyone's
know,
not the same.
Exactly. So I know when I needed insurance from a business standpoint to an auto standpoint, right? You need different types of insurance packages or whatever. How do you talk to that business owner who somehow tells you what he needs over what you need? What's your technique, and what's a smart person who gets into this business need to understand on how to educate the owner who knows everything?
Right. And I always tell you, you're good at what you do, and I know what I do, and I don't say that I know everything, but I know where to get the answers.
Exactly.
So what I always tell the clients, let me find out, what your needs are, and I want to be there for you. I work for my client, not the insurance company.
Right.
And I have many companies I can go to. So let me find out what your needs are and sit down and explain it. Do you fully understand? Because a lot of times people say, oh, I want this, this, and that. But do you really understand what you're asking for and what your needs are? And do you really need that? And sometimes we just say, I need this, and we'll give you a price and say, okay, that's good. But maybe you could have got more for maybe $5 or $10 more.
Right.
Yeah. But if you had said, so I just try to get the client to talk to me. I always say, like a doctor, I can't help you if I don't know everything about you.
Right.
So you have to reveal, like, this is what I need, this is why I want this is what I wanted to do, so we could come to agreement. And I always explain to my clients, this is your money. I want you to feel comfortable with the purchase that you're making.
Right.
Because I don't want to sell you something, you walk out the door and like, what do I have? I don't understand it. So I like to fully educate. This is what you purchase, and this is what it does, and this is how it works for you.
Right. And that's so important, especially in our community, right? We'll go outside of our community to various entities for all types of products and services. And sometimes we're being sold a bill of goods. Right. I think when we're in our community, especially the Black Business Alliance, one, we promote going to a subject matter expert because you don't know everything. We tend to listen to people at the family reunion table or at the picnic or somewhere else. A lot of us are educated on things, but we still tend to go into an organization or business thinking we know a lot more than we do know. And at the Black Business Alliance, we promote a lot of going to a subject matter expert who can educate you on some of the things that you don't know. It's going to make your business a little bit more efficient. So when you are evaluating these businesses, the small to the medium to the large, and we're going to take a break. But when we come back, I want to discuss a little bit more about, how and what are some of the challenges, that our community faces, that you as a professional on the insurance side that either inhibits or holds them up from moving forward and other things they need to do because of their insurances, right? Because of what they need to do. You are watching the programming for the Black Business Alliance as we sit and we highlight Black business located here in Connecticut and nationally, Black and minority business. You can reach us at www.bbusinessalliance.org. Join. We're going to take a break, and we will be back in a few minutes with Karen Bellamy, the owner of KJB Associates LLC, insurance company located in New Haven, Connecticut.
These are the monsters of the road. Ever drive alongside a tractor trailer in the rain? Scary. You're hoping they don't change lanes. Now they see you, now they don't. This monster can crush you in an instant. They may be insured for millions, but you're not thinking of that in a dangerous situation. I'm attorney Jeffrey Dressler. Have an accident, you know what to do. Because this is what we do. 24/7, 11/22.
Welcome back. My name is Frank Dixon, president of the Black Business Alliance, and thank you again for joining us for our second segment today for our programming as we highlight a Black and minority business here in the state of Connecticut and nationally. And our guest today is Karen Bellamy, the owner of KJB Associates LLC, an insurance company located in New Haven, Connecticut, where she focuses on all different aspects of insurance. So we want to pick back up with Karen, and as we were talking about in the first segment, and we ended the first segment talking about some of the challenges that you see in our community, the Black community and the minority community, as far as being able to get insurance. What's some of the challenges? Let's start from a business aspect first. What are some of the challenges you see when you're trying to get underwriting for these businesses? That's usually the holdup.
I think the underwriter understanding the types of business that we have. For example, I had a woman that she says she's a trainer. So I went back to her, I said, all right, the underwriter wants to know where you train at, what type of training. Are you training Walmart employees? What location are you training at? How many people you have? So it's a lot of detailed information that they want. And a lot of times the business owner gets frustrated because I'm asking so many questions, but it's not me, it's the underwriter trying to understand what type of business would they actually do. And many times the business owner can't define it itself because there's one woman, she's like, why I train, but sometimes I'm here and sometimes I'm there, but they want more concrete answer. They don't want like sometime I do this, sometime I do that. Or in some cases they're like, well, what are your receipts? Oh, I don't know, sometime this. They don't keep good records.
Right.
And that's so important to learn that you have to keep good records because you don't know, they want to know all this information. They pretty much ask you a lot of questions that you put together in your business plan.
So the tax, just your taxes isn't enough.
Right.
You need more
detailed description of what you want. And that way you can get a better price because you don't want them just to give you a price. Because they're going to rate you higher because they don't fully understand this, that they're not going to, rate you lower. They're going to rate you at a higher. So to really understand what's needed when you go out to the insurance company, I guess that could be a class that you can have on what is actually what they're looking for, how to define your business, what income is coming in, what you're spending out, what's your overhead. I mean, so those are the type of things they want to know about your business and how good you are at your business, because they don't want, they want to take on risk.
Right.
Yeah, so you're going to be sued every time you open your mouth. They want to know that you really understand, fully understand your business.
Yeah, they want to be able to something measurable to see your business acumen,
right?
And understanding the granular aspects of what you're doing, and it's so important as what we promote and teach and train, understanding the acumen in the industry of your business, that professionalism. Don't just know that I own a restaurant and I can cook, but understanding how much the eggs are going to cost, what's happening in the egg industry, what's happening in the flour industry, what's happening in the beverage industry that's going to affect your business. And I can understand the underwriter asking those types of questions. Also, thank you for the new idea in the class for the insurance. I hope you'll be willing to teach it for us.
I would. Yeah, but it's so needed just to fully understand, and that's why we pay more for services.
Right.
Like you said, we open that door in the restaurant and say, "Oh, I'm a great cook," but do you understand the business side of it? It's more than just being a good cook. Yeah.
So, talk to me about how important to you is it to be your own boss, your owner, you. What does that do for you, and talk about what you think that's needed in our community on business ownership.
We need it so much more in our community today than ever. We need to give something for the kids in the community to look up to. We could go to people like us that sell what we need and service our needs. I mean, we go to our corner store. They don't look like us. Right. They don't hire the young kids in the community. I work here and I live somewhere else, so I'm not giving back to the community.
Right.
And I think that's why our communities are failing, because we don't see anyone that looks like us that's working there. We can give more jobs. We can, just to train, just to teach. That's why even our elderly people, we don't not always treated fairly.
Right. And
people don't understand us. I know, for example, in my office, sometimes we'll get a phone call, and it could be an older minority person, and the young girl that works in the office, she don't understand them. I pick up the phone, I understand them clearly.
Right.
So it was just speaking English, but just certain terms they use.
Have that dialect in the community.
That I understand. And I can see why people get frustrated when they call outside our community or dealing with someone outside community, and they look down on us like, oh, they don't. Or they're not educated. Yeah. It has nothing to do with that. They are educated, but we just talk differently.
Right. And you know what? And a lot of other people have different dialects, literally foreign dialects.
Right.
But somehow you see the openness to break through the language barriers to make sure you get their business.
Right.
But when it comes to the Black community and depending on where you are from and sometimes just your dialect and the way you speak, and the willingness to being able to understand that. That's why it's so important that people in our community own and hire, because it's not that the person does not have the skill sets or the intellectual capacity to do these things. It's that they might not have grown up in the suburbs and they might not speak as fluent as you think everybody should speak. So, and I've experienced that myself, being a manager for years. I've interviewed people, and where I understand the various dialects of an individual, my colleagues would take it as, okay, well, this person might seem a bit too urban, right? I've heard that before.
Right.
And I honestly believe that is a real important piece of why we should own and hire our own. I'm not saying hire someone that does not have the capacity or want to learn, but there is the element that says if your name looks a little bit different, then you're probably going to act a certain way, right? And I've experienced that, just interviewing and managing people with colleagues of mine who thought those things. So I think it's so important. Let's get back to the insurance piece and the ownership. What some of the challenges of the keeping proper records, right? That's one of the major challenges. How do you manage that? How do you educate that business on going back and getting the documents they need? How do you shepherd them through that process?
I mean, it's a learning curve. I mean, you have to really tell them, this is what they need, and in some cases, it takes so much time that they say, I'll go somewhere else. And then again, you go somewhere else, they're going to give you something, but are they going to give you what you really need? And then later I find the clients that call me, they went somewhere else, but they call me back, well, I got this, and I don't understand it. But why didn't you ask the person you purchase it from to explain it to you? But they don't want to ask that,
Right.
but they feel comfortable coming back and say, but could you explain what I have this, and then I could make some adjustments, and then I could maybe get the business.
Right.
But it's the trust issue also. They feel they can go somewhere else and get it better. And I always say it's the same thing. They're going to get, we deal with the same companies. A lot of times the rates are better or the same. I mean, the rates are the
Right.
same. They may be different because you provide different information.
Got it.
Right, so that's where you're going to get different if you provide different information, but a lot of times it's all the same companies that we're dealing with.
So other companies might take limited information just to get
it
the
in
business something,
right?
Where you will say, look, I know what you need. I know
right,
if something happens, you're going to be undercovered
or you pay more than you need to
Right.
because you didn't explain the business to them correctly. But they was like, I want this. I have a woman open a daycare. I need it today,
Right.
but I need this information from you. And she doesn't have time to give me the information.
Right.
But so she'll probably go somewhere else. But I'm not going to just give you anything. For one thing, I always tell people, I'm in the community, you can find me. The other guy may come in and sell you something, and he's going somewhere else, so you're not going to challenge it, but you're going to always question me.
Right.
And I think it's a trust issue.
Yeah.
And
And I'm glad you said that word trust, as that's the hierarching word, for the Black Business Alliance, right? What we're saying is we have a vision of business sustainability, economic development, community engagement, our mission of consulting, consolidation, mentorship, growth, right? Leading up to trust. Because a lot of times we have lost the trust, which erodes our community. And when you don't have that community, then you don't have the monies rotating in the way they should. You don't have the advocacy there for the consolidated, holding your politicians accountable, holding each other accountable. The community is everything. So, you know what? We're going to take another break. And what we do, we're going to come back and we're going to get into some of the various aspects of getting started in this business and how to identify and maybe some of the demographics of where we are with Blacks in insurance. So thank you again. We're going to take a break as we're finishing up our second segment. Frank Dixon, president of the Black Business Alliance, and we're sitting here with Karen Bellamy, KJB Associates LLC Insurance Company. We'll see you for our third segment in a few minutes. Welcome back to our third and final segment of today's Black Business Alliance programming. We are here with KJB Associates, LLC, and the owner, Karen Bellamy, located in New Haven, Connecticut. Karen, we finished up our last segment talking about some of the challenges that black businesses face when trying to get proper insurance, enough insurance. And you so eloquently explained that a lot of insurance companies that are not vested into, our black and minority businesses might sell them policies just to, get them something. But you focus on what they need, and because you know what might come down as far as challenges. Could you talk about what happens when a person's underinsured and then a challenge happens? Can they just come back and try to get additional business insurance?
Not at that time. It's too late then. The insurance is for what can happen,
right?
What might happen now, after it happened. So it's important that people just understand what their purchase is.
Right.
If you fully understand and you know that you have things covered for all the what ifs you can think. You can't think of everything but the what ifs. If I have a flood, I'm going to lose all my inventory. So I need my inventory properly counted for. So, if I'm underinsured and they're only going to give me X amount of dollars on my inventory, but I needed this, then I didn't buy the right amount of insurance.
Right.
So just to know that, to read through your policy, make sure you understand it. Call your agent and say, what does this mean?
Exactly.
Right, because I don't know all the insurance terms.
It's your money. You're paying.
It's your money, right? So you have the right and that agent should take that time, with you to go through and explain. I don't know what a deductible. We can't assume that people know what simple things are or what they think it is. So make sure they fully understand how it works and where to go in their policy to find out what if something does happen. How to look. This is the basic pages. This is what your coverage is. Take the time to review your policy.
Right. Let's talk about the industry as a whole, insurance. When you started years back in insurance business, did you see more independent owned black insurance brokers then, or do you see more now?
When I first started in business, there were more black-owned businesses than I see now, different types of businesses. So there were more. You don't find a lot of insurance agency owners. There's a lot of independent financial planners or anything that that do a little life insurance or work for a bigger corporation.
Right.
Not too many independent owners because it's hard to get into business and it's a commission-based business. So you have to have some funds to live off while you're trying to grow your business.
Right.
And every time someone cancels, that's income that you lose.
Okay.
So it's a tough business, and I think if some of the financial planners and some of us came together, I think we can all do well.
And we are coming together under the Black Business Alliance.
Yes, but it's kind of hard for us. Everybody wants to be chief, so who's going to sit back and let someone else run and okay? But I think it's enough opportunity for all of us. Yeah. I know a lot of the insurance financial brokers in the industry, in the community here. And I talk to them more. I always say there's enough where we can work together. We work together. I don't know everything. There may be a client that's not a fit for me. I'll pass that client on to you. So.
And I think that's a project that we can work on at the BBA, with your insight and putting together. I know we do have financial planners and other insurance entities. Maybe we do form that own membership within the membership.
I think that would be
to
good.
focus on the trading within that industry, as that's what we're focused on.
And
with
sometimes
the BBA
you go
general.
you want to bid on something bigger. You need a larger entity to work with you. You can't do it as a one-man shop or hey, I got 5 employees, but with companies wanting to see that you're bigger.
Yeah.
So it's something we have to.
Is there a Black Insurance Association?
There is one that's not active in Connecticut. I've seen them out there, but you can't join or you can start one. I had talked to some of the guys from some of the people from New Haven area and said, why don't we get together? Let's meet on a monthly basis and share trade secrets and things like that. But I think it's needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to help you do it.
Okay,
I
I would
wanna help
very
you
much
do
like
that
to do
and
that.
reach
Yeah,
out and-
because we need to know who's out there also.
And the BBA has a platform to be able to go out and do that. And not just with insurance. We want to have our own, fiefdoms within the BBA, insurances and consultants, the various different industries where we're all collectively together. But there's nothing wrong with trading within that.
Right.
What is some of the skill sets someone coming out of college or someone wanting to switch careers in the insurance business? What kind of skill set or expertise or just intellectual, academic traits should someone have if they want to come into the insurance business?
Well, one trait I think is not to be afraid to accept rejection, because you're going to get more no's than you get yes.
Right.
Just
Strong-willed.
Someone that's can be committed and focused, because you're going to spend a lot of time studying to learn the business, learn how to deal with the underwriters. Not afraid to walk up and talk to people. But I think more so is being really focused. You really have to focus on something that you want.
Right.
Have enough income to live off while you're growing your business, because it takes some time. I advise anyone that wants to get started, go join a larger corporation or work with someone that can mentor you and help you get there on the way. I don't think it's as easy as it was in the past, because now things are, the economy is a little tight. So, you need that income to live off, and the companies take a little while before they pay you.
Right.
You may work on a life insurance case and won't close until 2 or 3 months down, depends on what the person.
What's the process like?
Underwriting.
Do you have to study, take a test?
You have to take a test. You have to take a test. You can sell life and health. You don't need a company to work through. You can go directly to some carriers and they'll give you contracts. But I always say it's good to be behind a company, because you do need like your E&O coverage. So there's some expensive, like any business that up front, but it's one of the not as expensive business to get started.
Now, with the certification, is that Connecticut specific, or can
Just
you
Connecticut
go
specific.
into New York or
Just
into
Connecticut
Massachusetts?
specific, but you can attain your license. Connecticut could be your home base, and then you can get licensed in other states also.
What's the cost of getting an insurance license, like what you have?
What
to
I
be
have
able to do
now
business?
with my insurance, I just renewed at like $160, but to take I've had my test. I took my test so long ago.
Right.
I don't even know what the
Right.
cost is now for new. But I would say you could probably get started for about $1,000 with tests. The E&O is going to cost you a little more. So, but
And
yeah,
what's E&O?
your errors and omissions insurance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's like your business liability insurance.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's going to cost a little bit more. That can cost you about $800 a year.
I think just that people understanding, the insurance side is just major. Just what general contractors that we deal with, their challenges of getting bonding, restaurants' challenges of getting licenses to do for everything from alcoholic beverages to anything else they want to do. Insurance is always there in some aspect, and being properly insured, as we see most of the time on the back end when a catastrophe happens and people don't have that kind of insurance. So, Karen, I want to thank you again.
Thank you,
KJB Associates, LLC, in New Haven, Connecticut. How can someone contact you if they want to learn more about getting insurance?
They can contact me on my on my email. My website is being developed, but my email is kjbassociates@aol.com. I have two, and the one that you have on there, Karen.kjbassociates@comcast.net. My phone number is 203-288-5290.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in and joining us today as we try to bring, the various aspects of doing business, being in business, being sustainable, identifying who's out there that's got your best interest in heart, from a financial aspect, from an insurance aspect, from a services product aspect, people who look like you or in your community that's going to give you that advice. We at the Black Business Alliance, we openly encourage you to join the Black Business Alliance as a professional, as someone who's interested in joining the cause of educating and training and keeping our business and professional community sustainable and growing. We are here every other week on from 12 to 12:30. I want to thank you again to accesstv.org, channel 17, and you can find not just this episode, but all our previous episodes focused on Black and minority businesses here in the state of Connecticut and nationally. My name is Frank Dixon, President of Black Business Alliance, and thank you again.